We have already said our farewells, of course, to the World Cup here in North Texas, but some local businesses are not going to forget its impact. Here to talk with us about that is Holden Willen with the Dallas Business Journal. Holden, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so you've been looking at some of the numbers and some of the data here as to what the World Cup meant for local businesses. What were you able to glean from what you saw?
Yeah, you know, in the months leading up to the World Cup and really the couple years leading up, you always heard officials throwing out the economic impact forecast.
There was a lot of hype in there. Those numbers were getting big.
Exactly. They were projecting, $1.5 billion, $2 billion. So we set out to try and answer the question of, did they get there? Was the World Cup really worth it? Officials have said they're still tabulating those results, but we talked to a bunch of businesses and some of the local economic officials, and basically you kind of saw a mixed bag. We talked to Wild Bills, who had soccer star Erling Haaland show up, and they definitely saw a boost, and they've actually continued to see a boost post-World Cup. But then you have other businesses, Terry Black's in Deep Ellum, other stores and restaurants in South Dallas and Fair Park area who've said that, one, during the World Cup, they didn't really actually see a huge boost. One business said, their biggest profit from it came from they sold some parking spaces for FanFest.
Wow, so they found ways to cobble together some profit out of this.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about Wild Bills, though, because, they had one heck of a bill that was rung up, as you just referred to there, and how that gift sort of kept on giving, and I guess that was probably courtesy of social media.
Right. So Erling Haaland, the soccer star from Norway, he and his social media team, basically, they went to Wild Bills, spent $10,000, which included boots, hats, a $750 taxidermy raccoon. What ended up happening was the store owner told us they shut down the store during his visit, so he kind of had the place to himself. But then after they reopened, within 20 minutes, a Norway fan showed up because he'd seen on social media.
Fast.
And then they've kept on, and then they ended up staying beyond their normal business hours because so many Norwegian fans came that evening. But then, like I said, post-World Cup, they've continued to see a boost to where they're still seeing about 175 to 200 orders more than they were prior to the World Cup, with 20% of those orders a day coming from international.
That is every small business's dream, to see that customer walk in the door, and with a social media following and team like that. So let's talk about what this all means when we get down to the bottom of it for North Texas, as far as hosting other big events like the 2031 Women's World Cup or possibly another Super Bowl.
Yeah, one of the takeaways from this World Cup was that FIFA said that they were very happy with how Dallas performed, and we're already in the running now for the 2031 Women's World Cup. The United States is leading that bid, and there was actually already a bid book put out last year, and Dallas is mentioned in it. AT&T could potentially host the final, and then we'd have earlier stage games at Frisco. But we're part of that. Based on how well we did, that's definitely something that officials here in Dallas are feeling pretty good about. And then also they've stated in the past that a Super Bowl would be something that'd be great. We had the one Super Bowl back in 2009 or 10 when the Packers won. We had that. They want to have more Final Fours. We obviously have already the Big 12 championship game is played at AT&T every year. They'd love to, I'm sure, get more of the college football playoff games and all those kind of things.
Who would have thought it would go so smoothly, especially in the heat of North Texas summer? But those fans actually showed up. They did pretty well, considering. Holden, thanks so much. Great article. If you'd like to read the article, by the way, check out the Dallas Business Journal online. Thanks so much, Holden, for being here.
Thanks for having me.